out of the darkness, risen up from the ashes. What it mean to be honest, to heal up all the damage, is to speak from the heart with no remorse and no baggage. Cause we're done with the hard bit, I confirm we're in transit. Oh, that goose was black and it was really bad. Rampant causing chaos in our minds that made us wish we're dead.
Yo, what's up everyone? So I thought before we would dive back into the Black Thought album, I would sandwich a little something else between these reactions. So I've received a request from one of my friends, Von Producer, shout out to you. He makes crazy beats, you guys should check him out. And he would like me to react to Friends. So I've never heard this artist before. I heard a little snippet on his story and it sounds fire, so I'm excited to check it out. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, play. Ooh. Whew. Right off the bat, that those strings in the beginning, and then that introduction of the bluesy, jazzy feel. If you guys don't know, I love jazz. So that little, I think it's a sax. That sax sounds amazing. Yeah, there it is.
Old boy sitting in the dark with a light bulb and a lighter in the sand like a pyro. Just can't put the thing down like an iPhone. Got too high, flipped out like a psycho. What's he gonna...
Right off the bat, flow incredible. Bar after bar, straight off the bat. We need to run this back so we can go over every line. Caught me by surprise.
Old boy sitting in the dark with a light bulb and a lighter in the sand like a pyro. Just
Old boy sitting in the dark with a lighter in his hand like a pyro. So pyro, short for pyromaniac, and he's sitting in the dark with a lighter, probably having a cigarette, you know, being in some kind of mood. And he's holding onto that lighter like he's about to set something on fire. And I can tell you, he's already setting stuff on fire with his delivery and his bars.
old boy sitting in the dark.
Also, pyromaniacs have an obsession with fire. So to say that he's playing with this lighter like a pyro, to me, I sort of also interpret that as he's got an obsession with making music, because him setting stuff on fire is him making music, and because he's calling himself a pyro, he's telling us that, yo, this is what he's passionate about, this is what he loves doing, straight off in a nice, subliminal, subtle way. So I'm all here for it.
Old boy sitting in the dark with a light bulb and a lighter in the sand like a...
Sitting in the dark with a light bulb. Sorry, I didn't catch that at first. Light bulb could also mean ideas. So you know how in the cartoons, a little bubble pops up and characters get an idea? He's sitting there and he's got an idea. So, let's see.
Old boy sitting in the dark with a light bulb and a lighter in the sand like a pyro. Just can't put the thing down like an iPhone. Got too high, flipped out like a psycho. What's he gonna do? Where's he gonna go now? Last I heard, he was living in a motel. Broke up with his old girl, then he broke down. Took it out on the best bro, they ain't bros now. What you really know about shit like that? 31 years old, addicted to crack since way back. How you gonna quit like that? Try kick that shit, it'll kick right back.
So at first I thought he was talking about himself, and he could be. But in this case, he's telling a story about someone else. And he's talking about this boy who's living in a motel, addicted to crack. He's describing someone with a hard situation. It could be that he is talking about himself, but in third person. So he's like reflecting on himself, but from a third person perspective. Like trying to look at his life, but, you know, taking a step out. Instead of using I, you know, he's painting a picture. And a lot of the time, if you are doing self-reflection, but you're communicating it that way, in storytelling, it allows for leniency. So there's certain details you can exaggerate, and it gives you more freedom to just, you know, like express your struggle, but in a more dramatic way, by exaggerating and dramaticizing certain details.
Addicted to crack since way back. How you gonna quit like that? Try kick that shit, it'll kick right back. Move back with the old girl got kicked out. Move.
I love that. Try to kick that shit and it will kick right back. So, you know, that's him talking about this boy struggling with sobriety, and when he tries to get sober, he relapses, which is something that I feel a lot of people who struggle with addiction, or who have struggled with addiction, can relate to that. And as someone who has in the past, I'm sober now, guys, so you don't need to worry. But as someone who's been through things like that, although thank God I've never been addicted to crack, I can say that, yeah, getting sober, it's a journey. You know, you may relapse, but don't give up. If you're struggling, don't give up.
Yeah, try kick that shit, it'll kick right back. Move back with the old girl got kicked out. Move back with the old man got kicked out. Whole life.
So he's playing off of the kick word. At first he was talking about the drugs kicking back, and now he's saying he moved back with his old girl, got kicked out. So the relationship that he got back into, it still isn't working.
Move back with the old girl got kicked out. Move back with the old man got kicked out. Whole life been an addict, concrete.
Move back with his dad.
Back with the old girl got kicked out. Move back with the old man got kicked out. Whole life been an addict, can't quit now. He just gotta have it, can't sit down. I remember when they used to turn the whole fucking room up. Wasn't anybody cooler back then. I was just a fucking loser. But you knew me before I blew up, before anybody gave two fucks.
Shout out to the Loser Club. If you know, you know.
Loser, but you knew me before I blew up, before anybody gave two fucks. Show love, so I gotta show you love back. Real shit, man, that's it for you, bro. This one here, yeah, this one right here. This one here for you, this one right here, yeah. This one here, this go out to you, this for my homie, my brother, yeah. Real shit is so true, this for my bones. You know me, yeah. And how long I know you, we ain't even gotta be.
So he's saying that he's dedicating this one to his friends. I believe that's why the track is called Friends, because he's dedicating this song to the people who were there for him before he blew up, the people who were there for him from the jump, you know, before he was ever a rapper, before any of that, just his OGs, his homies. And the way he delivers that and the way the instrumental builds up, you can really feel like the passion and the emotion behind it. I love it, man.
This for my bones, you know me, yeah. And how long I know you, we ain't even gotta be on the stuff when I say this stuff, bro. I ain't shit without you, I ain't even gotta say no name when I say this. You already know who's going out to this one right here, yeah. This one right here, this one here for you, this one right here, yeah. This one here, this go out to you. Old boy lying in the hospital.
I'm guessing that's the chorus. Sick chorus.
One right here, yeah. This one here, this go out to you. Old boy lying in the hospital lonely, doped out on the dope, looking all dopey. Had a little too much fun, then he OD'd. Just trying to keep up with all the homies. What you gonna do? Where you gonna go?
I really feel that bar. So, I don't know if he's talking about someone else now, or he's continuing with the same person. But he's saying, so this young boy, he's laid out on a hospital bed after ODing. And he described his justification as trying to keep up with his homies. And you know, as I've grown older and I've matured and stuff, you sort of just realize that people like that, you know, who try to bring you down like that, and just because they've got habits and things and, you know, problems, and they try to, you know, make you share in their problems, well, those people aren't your homies. So there's a sort of beautiful juxtaposition here, to where he's talking about, you know, dedicating the song to his friends and talking about his real friends. And then in the verse, he does something very clever, which is he's talking about those people who he thought were his friends. But, you know, now with age and wisdom, you know, he's realizing that they aren't, hopefully.
Too much fun, then he OD'd. Just trying to keep up with all the homies. What you gonna do? Where you gonna go out when your hometown looks something like a ghost town? And the bro roll round with a whole pound like, oh well, might as well have another blowout. How you gonna slow down just like that? 5 years in, she just gapped like fuck that. I probably would've reacted the same way. I don't know nothing about that, can't say no. Too much for one human to think about. Chew them up and then she just spit him out.
That flow is insane. So all this, too much for one human to think about. And that's such a real bar. You know, I feel like a lot of us, probably everyone, we all have, you know, these problems and these things in our life. And, you know, sometimes they're just too much for us to think about, you know? And I feel like that's where, for this character, those drugs come in, because I suppose they're the character's way of numbing, you know? It's too much for him to think about. So he's using those bad to damaging escapes to just numb himself from all the problems, you know, which are too much for him to contemplate.
I'll say no, too much for one human to think about. Chew them up and then she just spit them out. Till they figure out a better way to get it out. Pour me up another Hennessy and ginger ale, cause I probably would have done the same thing anyhow if I had that shit to forget about.
Right, so he is talking about someone else, because here he just said that he would have done the same thing anyhow, and before that he said, so just pour him another Hennessy or pour him a drink, because he's just sitting there and feeling for, I'm guessing he's rapping about his friend here, possibly. He's feeling for that person, and he's sad about it, and there's no anger, or there's no hatred towards this person that he's rapping about. No, he's more so, you know, sad about it, and there's a level of understanding there, because he's saying that he probably would have done the same thing anyway given the circumstances. And it's like Black Thought was saying back in that other reaction, you know, he said something about chances due to circumstances, you know, no chances due to circumstances. And I feel like that bar, which we digested in an early reaction, applies here.
Up another Hennessy and ginger ale, cause I probably would have done the same thing anyhow if I had that shit to forget about. Gotta get it out, gotta get around. Why settle down, sit down.
He would have done the same thing anyhow if he had that shit to forget about, you know? And he detailed all the problems. The relationship that isn't working, not connecting to his father, you know, maybe there's also poverty in there, you know, the addiction to crack and that, you know. It's hard, man. It's real shit. It's real shit. And this is what I love about hip-hop, especially storytelling hip-hop. Because to me, hip-hop is just, you know, those voices and those stories that you never get to hear about, you know, in real life. Rarely, you know. This is for these people, this is the only way they can truly get heard. And that's the beauty of the art form.
Now, if I had that shit to forget about, gotta get it out, gotta get around. Why settle down, sit down, bruv, let me get around.
I love that bar. I've got to get around. I have no other choice. There's nothing else. I've got to get around. And those two words, got to, you know, that stresses the importance of that sentiment by using those words.
To forget about, gotta get it out, gotta get around. Why settle down, sit down, bruv, let me get.
Ooh, gotta get it out. Yeah, and as someone who also raps, I relate to that. Because as a creative person, any sort of artist, you've got to get it out. You've got to get it out, because if you don't get this shit out, all right, it either bottles up inside you and then comes out later in a really nasty way, or at least the shit like what he's talking about, like with drugs. Sorry for swearing, guys.
If I had that shit to forget about, gotta get it out, gotta get around. Why settle down, sit down, bruv, let me get around. It's a beautiful night, don't wanna spoil it while we doing coke on the top of the toilet. Let's toast this bottle full of poison to a life full of pain and disappointment. You remember when I...
Let's toast this bottle full of poison to a life of pain and disappointment. That should explain everything right there, you know? I feel like people who struggle with substances are like, instead of being helped, they're looked down by society and people around them, and they feel judged, and that doesn't help them stop, you know? They're excluded. They're made to feel they are literally outcasted. And so he's saying that this bottle full of poison, you know, metaphorically, this bottle could be pills, this bottle could be powder, could be heroin, could be whatever. But this bottle full of poison, whatever your poison is, we've all had or have some sort of poison in our lives. You know, that's the pain and that's the disappointment right there.
Let's toast this bottle full of poison to a life full of pain and disappointment. You remember when I used to live off tinfoil and tuna? I gave a sip about my...
You remember when he used to live off tinfoil and tuna? So that's all he would eat, tuna. And tinfoil, I assume that could be a double given the subject matter, because on one hand it could be the tinfoil, the actual tinfoil that the tuna's wrapped in, or it could be the drugs. You know, when you've got tinfoil, I don't exactly know what drug you've got tinfoil and you've got the lighter underneath and you're lighting it and inhaling it, so it could be a double right there.
You remember when I used to live off tinfoil and tuna? I gave a sip about my future back then. I was just a fucking user. So look, I ain't tryna judge you, bruv. You just keep on doing what you do, bruv. But I gotta be straight to you because I'm the one who introduced you. So this here, this one right.
He ain't trying to judge you, bruv. The you here, I think, is directed at the person he's rapping about. He's not trying to judge them. But then he said something which really has me messed up, because he said he's the one who introduced them. So that person they were rapping about and all their struggles and everything they went to, the person rapping, if this is just storytelling, this is genius. But the person rapping framed it as he's the one who introduced them. And I take that as he's the one who introduced them to substances. So in a way, you know, it's his fault, and I suppose this song is his way of relieving his guilt about it. And, you know, I'm sure they were just experimenting or whatever, and he didn't realize what it would lead to. But now he's seen that a life has been destroyed, and he lives without weight on his conscience, and that's why he's sipping that Hennessy and why he's so somber about it. You know, because he's seen that something that might have at one point just been jovial or whatever, or jovial and fun, has led to catastrophic consequences.
Gotta be straight to you because I'm the one who introduced you. So this here, this one right here.
Ooh, that beat!
This one
That
right
is
here.
mental.
Yeah, this one here. This go out to you. This for my homie, my brother. Yeah, rest in the soul. This for my bossy. You know me. Yeah, and how long I know you? We ain't even gotta be on the stuff when I say
How come he knows you?
bossy. You know me. Yeah, and how long I know you? We ain't even gotta be on the stuff when I say this stuff, bro. I ain't shit without you. I ain't even.
There you go. He ain't even gotta be on this stuff when he says this stuff. He ain't shit without him. He ain't shit without his friends. So he's explained that you don't need to because I let me know if you guys can relate in the comments. But a lot of times when you're using substances or whatever, it's really just because you struggle showing that affection and what people mean to you when you're sober. So, you know, for example, I've struggled with this in the past. I've gotten drunk just to be able to tell people how I feel about them, to tell them I care about them, and I care about them. And here he is saying, no, we don't need to do any of that stuff, to tell each other that we love each other, man, you know, and that we understand each other. There's no need that shouldn't even factor into the equation, you know.
I know you, we ain't even gotta be on the stuff when I say this stuff, bro. I ain't shit without you, I ain't even gotta say no name when I say this. You already know what's going on. This one right here, this one right here, this one here for you, this one right here, yeah, this one here, let's go out to you. Remember when we used to do drugs? Now it's kinda like they do us. Did it until we did too much, everything off of them.
I think he's talking about his girl now, because he said, remember when we used to kiss and do drugs? So, unless he's homosexual, I figure he's rapping about someone else now.
Drugs, now it's kinda like they do us. Did it until we did too.
That's bar. Remember when we used to do drugs? Now it's kind of like they do us. I take that as he's lost control. He's lost control. He's not doing the drugs anymore. The drugs are doing him.
Remember when we used to do drugs? Now it's kinda like they do us. Did it until we did too much. Everything off of that really ain't do much. Started out on them blue doves, then moved up to that yellow school bus. Now it's like I need 2 doves just for a buzz. I need to get a new buzz. It's been too long. My guilt.
Yeah. That's something a lot of addicts will tell you, is that it's never enough. It's never enough. They need that next high. They need that next buzz. And they started out with this little bit, and they just keep needing more and more and more. You know, that's what an addiction is.
Now it's like I need 2 does just for a buzz.
And on top of that, not only that, but, you know, it's also the tolerance. It's the tolerance because, you know, the more you abuse something, the more your body becomes to it. And then for you to keep feeling even as high as you felt before, you literally need to do more of that to feel that high. So that's another extremely messed up thing about substances. Point is, guys, just don't do substances. Just don't do it. Take it from someone who has. And I promise you, life sober, that's the best life, all right? You know, and life is a gift. Life is a gift. I keep saying this, and people keep ignoring me, but it is a gift.
Blue doves that moved up to that yellow school bus. Now it's like I need 2 does just for a buzz. I need to get a new buzz. It's been too long, my guilt's too much due. Guess it's time that I grew up. Time to retire, I'm tying my boots up. All of that youth that I had, I used up. I'm too old for these.
All that youth that he had, all those teenage years he could have had, he used them up. He used them up, and he ain't getting them. He's not getting them back again. And I will tell you, God, I feel like I've never related more. That's probably one of the bars I most relate to ever, because I've practically wasted my youth, you know, wasting it. So, and getting wasted. So, yeah. It's a shame because those years, they're the most beautiful years, man. You know, and yeah, of course that's subjective, but being a kid, you know, being a teenager, there's nothing like that freedom that you've got. You'll never have the freedom of being a kid again.
Never tiger, I'm tying my boots up. All of that youth that I had, I used up. I'm too old for these new drugs. Too clued up to be queued up for this club. The scrub just spewed up on my brand new blue Pumas. Somebody call me an Uber before I turn into Tuba. Who got the oolers? Look, ain't nothing wrong with no looter, but I'd rather be at home banging that loofah. My brain's already screwed up from all the shit I chewed up. I'm about to grow me a tooth.
His brain is already screwed up from all of the shit that he chewed up. I mean, that just speaks for itself. And that's irreversible damage right there, guys.
Banging that loofah. My brain's already screwed up from all the shit I chewed up.
You know, there's another Spanish rapper, Cano Oasis. In Spanish, we Cano Oasis. And he said something like, this song has brought one of his bars back to my mind. He said something like he spent... He chose to get wasted to forget about the bad memories, and by doing so, he ended up losing the good ones too. So, that's what that reminds me of.
I'd rather be at home banging that loofah. My brain's already screwed up from all the shit I chewed up. I'm about to grow me a tumor. All my friends are stuck in the past, still dancing the future. I was conceived.
He's literally about to grow him a tumor. A tumor, in most cases, is a life-ending thing, you know? He's saying he's done so much damage to his brain. He's literally about... He's about to birth cancer in his brain. Very serious subject matter.
Grow me a tumor. All my friends are stuck in the past, still dancing the future. I was conceived by 2 users. I was supposed to...
I need to rewind that.
Be a loser. I had to see my old man cooped up in an orange jumpsuit trying to shoot up. I seen the sky, I seen the sewer, I seen the sign I should have seen sooner. I see my bed.
He's seen the sky. He's seen the sewer. So he's seen the highest peaks, and he's seen the lowest lows. And in a way, they could be interchangeable, because skies could just be a metaphor for how high he was. So by peaks, he could just simply be referring to how high he was. And in a way, being higher than he'd ever been, he was lower than he'd ever been.
Friends are stuck in the past, still dancing the future. I'm about to grow me a tumor. All my friends are stuck in the past, still dancing the future. I was conceived.
Yeah, he said something about his friends being stuck in the past, and then something to do with the future. I like that wordplay. Always with bars, there's always juxtaposition, and and opposites. Opposites are very important in hip-hop.
By 2 users, I was supposed to be a loser. I had to see my old man cooped up in a...
He was supposed to be a loser, but simply by him saying that, he didn't even have to deliver a follow-up to that, because just simply by saying he was supposed to be a loser, he's also saying that, no, like, he refused being a loser, you know? He got his shit together, hopefully. But that's what I infer through the word supposed.
By 2 users, I was supposed to be a loser. I had to see my old man cooped up in an orange jumpsuit trying to shoot up. I seen this.
Ooh, he had to see his own father cooped up in a prison uniform trying to shoot up. I don't know if he's referring to shoot up like shoot up or shoot up like shoot up, but either way, that's some serious trauma right there.
Big a loser. I had to see my old man cooped up in an orange jumpsuit trying to shoot up. I seen the sky, I seen the sewer, I seen the sign I should have seen sooner. I see my best.
He's seen the sign he should have seen sooner. Yep.
Shoot up. I seen the sky, I seen the sewer, I seen the sign I should have seen sooner. I see my best friend pack that flute up. 1 year later, retired that noose up. This one.
I didn't. What the hell? You're not supposed to. I mean, sure, but this is a very dark subject matter. So he just said that he's seen his literal best friend kill himself. You know? And that's just, you know, we all lose people. And, you know, for those of you, I can tell you that I've been in a situation like that. But for those of you who, you know, there's those of us out there who have unfortunately had friends, you know, acquaintances, people we know, kill themselves. And I suppose the butterfly effect that just leaves, you know, it's irreparable. It just stays with you forever. So what can I say, man? I feel them. I really feel them.
Sooner. I see my best friend pack that flute up. 1 year later, retired that noose up. This one here.
Ooh. So he switched it up. He didn't go back to the chorus like I was anticipating. The whole beat changed. Let's see where this is going. Flute, I think. So much emotion in that instrument.
Friends, all my so-called friends, they don't hang around me anymore.
First off, I'm pretty sure that's still him. Incredible singing. But he's saying all his friends, they don't hang around him anymore. That could be taken 2 ways, but given the subject matter, I think it's the latter of what I'm about to mention. First way is simply that they don't hang around him anymore. You know, they've lost touch, they lost connection. Or it could be that he lost his friends to substances, his friends killed themselves, and that's why they don't hang around him anymore. Because they're just not here anymore.
They don't hang around me anymore. Friends, all my so-called friends,
All of them.
they don't hang around me anymore. Friends, all my so-called friends, they don't hang around me anymore. Friends, all my so-called friends,
That's painful, man.
they don't hang around me anymore. Friends, all my so-called friends,
Very difficult song, guys. Very tough subject matter. Don't just don't do substances. Honestly, there's no good end to it. And if you've got people in your life trying to entice you to do substances, those people shouldn't be in your life. Also, putting that aside for a second, phenomenal song. Incredible rapper. This is my first time listening to him. Amazing. Thank you for sending me this song. Yeah, wow. I'm kind of speechless. I'll catch you guys later. Have a wonderful day. Peace. Be getting back to the Black Thought album soon.